You say hi to the camera, Polly? Oh, say hi to the camera. Yeah, say hi to the no, don't lick my ear. Okay, there you go. Hi, it's Cara, and today I'm going to be doing a series review for you. I apologise for not having been around the past couple of weeks, but I was studying for exams, you know. I'm a bad procrastinator as it is, and I was not giving myself an opportunity to dodge study even more. So I was not making videos during my study period, but exams are now over and I'm back at my parents' house, if you can't tell by this lovely bookshelf behind me. So I am free to read and film videos, and oh man, the glare on my glasses is horrible. But yeah, so that's the plan for today. So I have a series review for you of the Viral series by Kathy Reichs. The Viral series by Kathy Reichs. So these books are kind of, I guess you could say they're like fantasy science, like science fiction fantasy, but also crime, and it's a weird combination. I don't really know how to explain it, but essentially Kathy Reichs, the author of these books, primarily writes crime fiction. This is her young adult series written with her son, and it's not crime fiction. It's like kind of fantasy, but also kind of crimey at the same. I don't really know how to explain it, but essentially, Viral's the first one, and the whole series as a whole really is about this girl Tori Brennan whose mother recently died and is going to live with her father that she's never really met, and he works as a scientist on an island, like a research island with animals, and they're like a veterinary research institution. And the little isolated community she lives in, she meets these three boys who become like her best friends. And they find a wolf pup in a like hidden laboratory. And just when they're exploring, because you know that's what you do when you're on an island and you can, and that pup gives them a virus which essentially alters the way their DNA works, and they start having like wolf-like episodes. So it's kind of like werewolves, but they're not werewolves. They get extra sensitive sight, smell, touch, hearing, all that kind of stuff. They become really fast, and they can turn it on and off, and they use it to like help them solve problems in the community. And slowly throughout the course of the series, they're still trying to figure out what it is that they've got, the effect it's going to have on them, because no one, of course, has ever had this problem before. It's a parvovirus strain that is somehow contagious to humans when it shouldn't be. And it's just a very interesting way of, like a science fiction-y way of doing a fantasy concept, and I kind of really like it. So this says mystery, fantasy, forensic science, and heart-stopping action. And I guess that really is what it is, and it's one of those confusing ones that's very contemporary in its setting, crime novelty, but then also has this fantastical element that just helps them in marvellous ways, but is kind of strange. So yeah, I read this first one a long while ago when it first came out, I think, because I love Kathy Reichs' writing as a whole. So I picked this up and enjoyed it, and then slowly I collected the rest of the series. But only recently have I read Seizure, the second one, Code, the third one, and probably my favourite of the bunch so far, and Exposure. And Exposure just came out earlier this year. And yeah, I really love this series in a way that it's probably not my favourite YA series of all time, but it is so unique in the way it approaches the fantastical elements and also the way it approaches crime solving that I just really love it. I am a science student, a science geek, and so that's what I love most about the Kathy Reichs her adult series is how much of a focus is placed on the science and not just on the drama of solving a crime. And this kind of follows on with that theme, so I really like that. But there are things I also that really bother me about this series. So I'm going to talk about the wide gamut of emotions I feel for this series today. Yep. So first of all, the characters. There's 4 main characters, Tori, Hiram, Shelton, and Ben. And they make up the 4 virals, or their pack, as well as the wolf dog, Cooper. And that's their pack, essentially. I find all of them really unique characters. They all stand out with their own strengths and benefits. Some of them are hilarious. But for me, they're all young. They're all 16, 17-ish, which is younger than I am, of course. But not when I was reading it. When I was reading it, it was about my age, the first one anyway. But my main problem with the characters is Tori, our main character, the only girl in the group. And the reason she bothers me so much is she is so damn headstrong, to the point that they are stuck with nowhere to go in a case. And she goes, I might just go check out this unrelated thing because I'm stubborn and want to solve the problem. She has no real understanding of what she's going to get by going there, but she wants to go there just to check that she's covered all bases, just in case, and that moves the plot forward. And that bothers me a little bit because I don't understand, I can't grasp why she's so desperate to solve these cases. It's like a personal pride thing almost. Like, really, 4 teenagers should not be solving the crimes they're doing, which involve missing treasure on like a fully booby-trapped treasure hunt, a double kidnapping, stuff that really shouldn't be left to 17-year-old kids, and it's not left to 17-year-old kids. There are adults and the police are there also doing these same things, investigating these cases. And yes, these kids have an added benefit in that they have these supersensory powers. They're essentially got superpowers. But for me, that doesn't give them the right or that they should feel that they have some like given right to investigate these cases. And the rest of the characters agree with me in that, which makes me dislike her more. All the 3 boys were always like, no, let's not go investigate. We're getting in the way. The police are going to be doing the job. Why do we always have to do the job? But Tori is just so headstrong that she goes and does it anyway. And essentially forces them to come along. And that bothers me a little. Which I think is why I liked Code, the 3rd book in the series, best. Because in this book, which is really shiny, the plot isn't pushed along by Tori's stubborn self. Instead, the actual crime pushes the events forward in the novel, which is kind of what I want. I want the crime to be so twist and turny and heart-racing and exhilarating that it pushes the plot forward, which in this one was the case. This one based more on a to-the-clock crime where they had to solve problems, codes, to stop the next thing occurring. And that made it better for me. That meant it wasn't Tori's butt. That was Tori being a butt and getting them into these stupid situations, which sometimes I think were just unbelievably stupid in some of the other books. So for me, this was the best one for that reason. The one after that, Exposure, was a little bit better than the first 2 in avoiding Tori's stupid decisions. But again, still she did some stupid things. I think that's also supposed to be played into the fact that she's the youngest of the group. The boys are all 16, 17, and she's a 15-year-old sophomore in this. She's younger than the rest of her year because she skipped a grade. So I think they put it down to her immaturity, and yes, true, like it's well justified, but you're reading these books from the point of view of that immature character, and that sometimes bothered me a little bit, especially in Seizure, which was the one where I felt it was worst, but I can't really remember enough of Virals, the first one, to really remember if it was present in that or not. But in Seizure, I really felt that. Like, they'd be at a dead end with nowhere to go, and she'd go, oh, let's just explore this thing that has some bizarre, not even a link to, that you've already decided there's no real link, but we're going to explore it anyway, just in case, and then they'd find something there. And it just felt a little bit unbelievable to me. But character Tori aside, the plots are really good. I find the actual crimes are an engaging way to bring about character development, which I guess must always be the centre of YA fiction. I think if you don't have good character development, your story is totally lacking. And these plots were a good way to bring about that character development. It combined them well. It helped bring them together as a team, show how they worked as a team, show the need for them to be in a team and not stand apart from each other. And also they were just really fun. Like, I really enjoy treasure hunting, pirate treasure hunting, and solving crimes. So that was really good. I enjoyed that, and I thought they were well executed, so you didn't know what was really happening at any point in time, or not the end result, which I think Kathy Reichs does really well. You always are introduced to the characters, the evil villains, as you always are in just about every crime novel ever, but she conveniently puts these little snippets of things happening that so you think you know what you're talking about. You think you know who's doing the thing, and you don't really know who's doing the thing ever, which is kind of great. That's what I really like about these plots. But let's talk about character development, because who doesn't love character development? I really thought after getting into Code and Exposure, these ones were the best for character development. The first two were more setting up how the connection between them and the wolf DNA works, whereas these two books really help to build the character dynamics between the characters apart from that. So looking at more romancy aspects in a way that's not really romancy, but drives the plot well. And we see Tori develop into someone who's realizing that she can't be so headstrong a little bit. She has to stand back and let other people help her, and that she can't rely on her own instincts to get her through all the time. And I really enjoyed that. And the romantic relationship was adorable, while not heavily held on, which is never really heavily held on in Kathy Reichs novels. But I enjoy the romance aspect. I don't feel like it's over-pushed or overdone. It's just there and helps provide, like, reasons for characters to be doing things while not making it all about that, which I really like. And yeah, the development of the pack, the development of the characters, it all just, I can't really tell much more without spoiling things, but it really develops in these last two, which make them so worthwhile. This one's still my favourite, I still love it most, but this one has some great character development. I think I like Code better because I found the actual plot more enjoyable than in Exposure. Exposure got to the end and felt a little bit lame for me, but I enjoyed the way the action was presented. Just, it felt like a little bit of a, oh, of course it was him kind of thing at the end. So that was my only real problem with Exposure. But, yes, just all I really have to say about this series is that if you like crime novels and you enjoy reading crime novels, but you want something that's young adult suitable, has different elements, is different to anything you've ever read before, pick up this series and give it a try. You have to go into it thinking like a crime novel, really, to make it work, not like a fantasy novel. It is essentially a crime novel, but if you go into it like that, oh man, these are so good. Yeah, I've had a really enjoyable month marathoning these 3 books. Oh yeah, it was so good. Also, like, read Code. Code's the best. If you haven't read Code, read Code. So yeah, that's about all I really... Ooh, that goes on that side. This series is really just a great series. I gave the first 2 4 out of 5 and the second 2 5 out of 5 on Goodreads, which I give 5 out of 5s pretty regularly, so that's not a big deal. But I just really recommend people read them, experience them, and they don't look like they look a bit lame. Just saying, but they're really good. They also have, there's 2 e-novellas that go in here as well, which I enjoyed, but were kind of just fillers, blending a bit of short little cases and interacting this series with the adult series, which is a big deal kind of in these books, because Tori is the great niece of Tempe Brennan, who's the main character in the adult series. So that mainly was developed in those e-novellas. But yeah, read them. Read the 2 e-novellas, Shift and Swipe. Read Kathy Reichs' books in general, because she's probably the best crime author out there, especially when it comes to science. If you like science, pick up Kathy Reichs. That's what I'm trying to say. So yeah, that's what I thought of this series. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope I didn't ramble too much, but I probably did. And let me know if you've read any of these, what you thought, if you're going to read any of these. And yeah, okie dokie.